Aquarius, back at it again. I'm back to make your world that much better and brighter, darling. Okay? Love me for real. All right? Let's get into it. Thank you for tuning in. Any questions you may have, you can also leave them in the comments if you want to. If you come in my house, speak, take your shoes off. All right? Hit the like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that, you know what it is. And yeah, go ahead on and take a breath and let's tap in and get in tune. God damn it, the whole half of this deck just fell out. Like, 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. So this read feels different. It feels like really special, like something that you really need to hear, or something that need to talk to you about. Because so much fell out from that deck, and that's 2 different decks that I'm using, and I just put them together. But it feels like North Node energy, like it's something that needs to be talked about. Communication is real. You could be a communicator, you could be an educator, and you could be somebody who does this for a living, like you are a public speaker. But you're your most authentic self, you're true. You're someone who follows their heart, and you're very perceptive, and you trust your intuition. You trust the guidance from within. And I can resonate because beforehand, I've been around the world. And I don't mean that physically, I mean that figuratively, emotionally, physically, metaphorically, and yeah, physically a bit too. I mean, I haven't traveled outside of the United States as of yet, but what I mean is that I've been on my own little journey, my own little, my own little cycle of ways of having gone through things and having to, how can I put it, dishonor myself, just a little bit about me so you can resonate. I am a gifted spiritual reader, and it took some time for me to come into that and come into the awareness of myself. I knew that I had gifts. I knew that I was special from way back when. But, when you already have like a hindsight, or when you already have foresight in life at an early age, it's looked at as something else, and people don't know how to deal with it. And so I learned how to, wear a mask. I learned how to mask my thoughts. I learned how to mask my vibration because I knew I wasn't around, company to where I could express or explain myself in a way. And it kind of made me feel small a little bit going throughout life. I learned to mask my whole entire awareness in front of you. And so I can see why people would say that, I may have came off fake. Even if they did, I didn't care. I think I got so used to being around people who didn't really see me for who I was that I just knew it was coming. And so in some way, shape, or form, I would always eventually get a positive eye. I would always get somebody in my life who, honestly, I've had situations where, they were spiritual. Like I've had encounters with the divine, but the divine would send messages through people who you wouldn't even expect to approach you. And when this happened to me, it happened to me at an early age. It happened to me, and it changed my whole perspective about things and about people at that time because, I was a teenager. I was always a loner. I've always been a lone wolf. I've always been to myself. I've always preferred the company of me. And there was nothing wrong with that. But I'm no different than you when I went through things and experienced things in my life that put me to shame, that, riddled me with guilt and doubt. And I really had to stand up for myself against all odds. And now that I am where that I'm at now, I can just honestly say that it's been a great and wonderful experience. It makes a lot of sense now. A lot of things that I have had questions about, it makes a lot of sense. It's a lot to be said, but I'm just trying to give you, something that you can relate to, let you know I'm just not somebody on here just reading and getting on here doing that. But my journey has been to my authentic self because I've had to unravel and unpack a lot. And no, I don't come with baggage, but please understand, you know, it's all love. Just don't get it twisted and think that you're just gonna do me or treat me some any kind of way that you feel like because that's what you see. Nah, please, don't get it twisted. That it does not cost you anything to be caring and compassionate and considerate to others. It costs you nothing just to be your true authentic self and just speak when in passing or just have a genuine consideration on life for other people as well. It costs nothing for you just to, just to say hi, just to be that way, just to be real. But I get it. Some people, so many people for so long have hidden that aspect from themselves that it just became a new norm for them until it wasn't working no more. You know, your vibe and everything had to change, and you knew that. So I've come to, really just, get out of my head because, yeah, I am an Aquarius, so I know what's up. I've come to realize and understand why things happen the way that they did for me. And instead of crying about it, I chose to learn and understand that instead. And now I'm here as a guide, being of service to you, letting y'all know, giving y'all the game, giving y'all the tea instead. There's no more hiding this growth with me. It's a lot. I'm a woman just like others are on here, growing and growing, loving life, just, accepting life as it is and get more and more into my power, more and more of me, more and more of understanding, and not giving a fuck about what nobody else got to say because truly it's not none of your business, but we have to live our own lives for ourselves. It's like you got to do what you got to do and I got to live mine. But this is part of, this is part of my program. This is what I do. I love it. I really do. I love it. And everything I do here is all in love. Some of you may be on the road to recovery. I'm picking up 12 steps, congratulations. We all have to, some way, shape, or form, we've all had to walk that road of redemption and sobriety and do it sober. Not so, and I mean, even the ones that really have to deal with sobriety who have, been, who have abused, substance abuses and stuff like that, and you've overcome that, congratulations. And to us who, may have dabbled and dabbled in that, but our sobriety comes from light, from dealing with other things in other ways, not so much as abusive with substances and stuff like that, but we've had our own addictions in life, you know what I'm saying, that have caused us to walk that, walk in light in our sobriety and be authentic, not only just to ourselves, yes, but to others as well. And so no longer is along with, I won't say hiding, but, this is me. I'm here. I'm here as well. I'm right here with you. So without further ado, yes, let's get on into that. It's a little bit about me, you know what I'm saying? Little spiel, little something that y'all can relate to, okay? So let's get on into this message. Aquarius. Yeah. To those that view this, I really hope that things are going well for you in life. You're having a really good day, and you're spending your time well. Happy manifesting, and here's to all your dreams coming true and everybody rocking out. Real talk. So, Aquarius, here we go. So this message is about, once again, being your authentic self. As you heard me talk, what is this? Friends, influence, yeah. Um, like I said, there are things that you've had to go through, that you've gone through, that self-care, that you've gone through that has made you. Like you were developed in the wild, you know what I'm saying? You're the wild child, baby. We're the wild child, we're the wild kids. But it's authentic though, you know? Aquarius are unicorn. We're very unique people. And to understand us, child, good luck. Good luck. Because once you think you got this down packed, and no, please don't do that to yourself. That's just like committing suicide. No pun intended. Yeah. You know, there's a difference with us. Aquarius can be your soulmate. We can be that understanding. We can be a level of assurance. You know, we are honestly all things. I'm not saying that, you know, we're all that. You know, we are the program. It is what it is. We dance to, you know, the beat of our own rhythm. And it's not so much that, you know, it's not so, and it's funny because other Aquariuses, some Aquariuses get along just fine. And then it's just like, there's a collective of us that are just set apart. But together, unified, man, please watch out. We have huge hearts. And we always a big deal, but we just set apart from the norm because, as y'all know, if you have an Aquarius in your life, tend to them, water them like you water your garden, because we are a big deal. And not to be coming off cocky or arrogant or none of that, but like I said, we are a big deal. So there's all these messages coming through and coming to light. The road to redemption is the road to self. You could have been somebody who avoided a lot of things. You were very passive in life about things, you know. You shied away from a lot. You were in your own little bubble. And this in a way kind of made you magical. It gave you a voice because you weren't really tapped into what was going on outside of you. It never really interested you like that. I mean, you love to be entertained, yes, but there was an avoidance with you, which caused things to be a stalemate as well. It's like it was a catch-22. Like, damn if you do and damn if you don't, you know. It was like, even though you were in your own little bubble, it kind of signified that you were afraid, or you kind of shrouded when it came to big crowds and stuff like that. Because, you know, I get it. People are weird. So you avoided trouble at all costs. You made sure that your energy and your vibe, you know, stayed protected in a way that was beneficial to you, so that you could, you know, branch out and still be of help. Like, we're Aquarius, we're peaceful people. We don't like none of that, you know, disturbing anything, you know. Shake some shit up and you can see the other side of us for real, okay? But, you know, you could have had you had your share of karma. You know what I'm saying? You had your share of karma. Just like I did as well. There's karma, and then there's justice for that. I've had to share a great deal of karma as well. I've had to come through things that I wouldn't even think that I was going to go through. And what I'm currently going through now, you know, is a me versus me type deal. There's no one else to, there is no finger pointing or anything like that. It's me standing on business and practicing what I preach. And honestly, just honoring myself and trusting. See, for me, I have an issue with trust. And I'm kind of impatient. So when I manifest things, I need to see stuff happening right away, or else I'm out, I'm gone. And so I had to stop doing that, you know, because Yeah, comfort zone. You know, right now where I'm at is I'm out of my comfort zone, baby. I'm up out of that mess because a lot of that had me, I was cool where I was, but I didn't know that it was limiting things. It was, it was making things uncomfortable as well. And it's like I look up and I come up out of that, and it's so much to be discovered and so much to be done and so much to be revealed. But I will tell you that, this journey where I'm at now, just the discovery of self and just being content and just being happy with me and by myself has been a magical experience for me. I've taken more into my self-care and just, being more of awareness about me and discovering how great of a person I really am. For so long I've been the one to take care of everybody else, you know, um, in an unselfish manner. But only to find out that, in the past I ended up suffering in the long run. Because when I was lacking, there was nobody there that I could drop a tear on and call and say, hey, you know what? All that disappeared when the healer needed healing. And so there was no one else there. And so that's when I had to like really just, fall back on everyone and everything, even myself. And it's no judgment at all, but it's just, a realization that it's time for you to stop doing things a certain way because there's a big reveal within you that needs to come. Now you completed this cycle. Everybody's been through that. You completed this cycle and now it's your turn to put that shit on time out, put it to rest. And now you have to, it's like a reveal for you. You have to take care of you now. And this could have, had a bearing on relationships and how I see things. It's just like I said, I was too busy, in my comfort zone. And I thought I was okay with that. But Spirit was like, nah, you've been in the background much too long. It's time for you to come up out of that. You know what I'm saying? It's time for you to reveal. It's a reveal for you, baby. We've got things for you to do. You've got work to do, love. So it's time for you to, wake on up, come on up out of that, and come on to the forefront because you know how to bring them to the yard. You have gifts that we can expand on. Yeah, look. Sometimes I was sleeping on myself. And I didn't even have to sit there and charge it to the game and see how, talk about how others were sleeping on me because I was, sleeping on myself. Want me doing that shit again, I know how great I am. I'm not gonna get on here and brag or boast, but Spirit was like, get on there and be authentic, say a little something to them. Let them know who you are. Let them know what's going on. And this is me. I love music. I love love. I love passion. I love beautiful things. I love art. I love creating. I love collabing. Like, I am a truly, well, I can show you that and I can tell you that, this is just me. This is who I am. This is what it is. And I wouldn't change it for nobody. I love the fact that it's just me, God, and the Spirit alone right now because that's where I'm supposed to be. That's where I'm meant to be. That's what it is. You understand me? Bam, there it go. That's what I felt. North Node. See? That's my purpose. That's who I am, y'all. Introducing. Okay? I think I'm going to end it right there because there's a reason why. Yeah. And this is also what it's about, But I'm going to end it there because I felt that vibe. That's why Spirit had me do it this way to reveal. And I hope it all made sense and everything. That everything that I say out here came out. There will be more of a reveal because there's so much to talk about and so much to unpack. But I wish everybody well and, everybody that viewed this. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's happening? what's going on, you know. Buenos dias, konnichiwa. No, konnichiwa is goodbye. Anyway, you know what it is. We're not going to keep going dog through this, but I appreciate the listen. You know, I'm dope in real life for real. And yeah, welcome to the magic of me. Bye.